Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of the uranium area, and we're going to go over Sprott Physical Uranium, URNM, and a lot of the individual companies, because that's what we want to look at. We want to look at the companies, get a good picture of what they are doing. So diving in here, again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. But let's see what the charts are saying. We've got this big pattern that developed. We've broken to the downside of the pattern here recently. We do have good market conditions ahead of us. But, kind of a but. We had a down day today, and we're just kind of rocking sideways back and forth. Eventually, we want to break this downtrend line. And that's where my eyes are set. So we're bouncing all over the place down here. High volatility. We know this is good value. We've got a little bit of support right where we're at. Let's hope that support holds and we can reverse it and try breaking this downtrend line at some point here shortly. URNM, this is an ETF. I've got my drawing on there that I drew some days back. I said, maybe it'll look something like this, where it comes down a little bit. Maybe this is the bottom-ish here. Maybe we come here. I doubt it's going to go all the way down here, but it'll probably come somewhere in this range right where it's at. And hopefully we can start working our way sideways to higher. Looking at BNNLF, this is Bannerman. Hopefully it can come up here. So there we go. We've got Bannerman Energy. Again, we've been moving sideways. We've broken the downtrend line to the upside, and we're volatilely moving sideways up and down. Goviax is doing the same thing. We're just bouncing back and forth. And what we want to see is a contraction in these bounces. We want to see smaller down days and big up days. That's what we want to see. Big up day, small down days. Global Atomic. Again, we've got a little bit of volatility bouncing around here. We want this volatility to calm down. And we want it to eventually work its way out where we go downward, sideways, and then up. Thesis Metals got a little bit of a larger down day today, 7% it looks like. Again, this thing's incredibly volatile. It's like been going all over the place down here. So I think what we're doing is we gotta calm this thing down, get it to move sideways a little bit, and contract down in its opening and closing prices before moving on up. It's gonna take some time. Pure Point's already broken its downtrend. It's looking okay. I mean, it's just chopping sideways, and that's what we want to see. Deep Yellow, update today, 3% update with a hammer pattern. And it looks like it's trying to do the sideways thing, so that's good. You can see my little graph in there, or a little line. Paladin Energy, big picture view, looks fantastic. It's trying to break out of this resistance line. It just needs some time to break through. The volume's there. Everything looks fantastic. I don't see any problems. So Sky Harbor Resources, we came back into the pattern. Nice good hammer pattern here. Came back down a little bit today. It's right at support, so we'll see if that support can hold. We've got Next Gen Energy. Let me see if I can yank this guy over here. I wasn't on the right setting here. All right, let's do this over. There we go. So we're right at support here where that line's coming across. We got a lot of hits in here. And that's right where we're at, right at support. Hopefully it can hold. Here's Canalaska putting in a nice big bullish engulfing pattern here. So it looks like we're getting some momentum to the upside, putting in, this is a bullish engulfing here. What you want to see is you want to see contraction just like this. We want to see this kind of contract down a little bit and then make its way higher. Here's Baseload Energy. It looks like it's trying to put in a move to go on up, perhaps. This is how I drew this line in here. Hopefully that's going to hold true, where we can kind of get this momentum to go sideways and then eventually move up. This is Fission 3.0. It's following my little scribbles in here of a downward motion to a sideways motion, and then eventually to an up motion. A couple more days of trading, I think it'll happen. Fission Uranium, kind of a reverse flag pattern, descending flag pattern kind of. We have a bullish piercing pattern today, so hopefully we can get some momentum to the upside here for next trading day. Kazatomprom still in a downtrend, down a little down day today. We've got PenMF. We're still in a downtrend there. So we still have that downtrend. Boss Energy, we broke to the right-hand side of this little contraction point here. And usually they like to move higher. We'll see if that happens. This one is Lotus Resources, broken downtrend. It's still looking okay. Look at all the green days over here and hardly any red. We come over here, it's like they flip the switch and now it's down days with some green days. But it's probably going to go sideways and then move up. That's my guess at some point here. Uroy, let's draw this guy here. We're right at the support line of the downtrend, resting on it. This one, it's difficult to read which way this thing's going. This is a bearish piercing here, which, I mean, we could still see a little bit more downside in it. Encore Energy, we tried moving higher here, but the sellers kind of threw us back down, little selling pressure down. I think we're probably just going to rock sideways and then eventually move up after it rocks sideways. UU, down day today, still in this kind of downtrend motion. The momentum's to the downside. URG, looks like this guy's trying to put in a bottom. We hit here, came up, came back, did a little retest, back test, and now we're trying to chop sideways, get that momentum and the sellers out of it. We're trying to shake the sellers out of the stock is what we're trying to do. The weak holders, the weak hands. We've got UEC. Again, we're trying to shake the sellers out of the stock. We're just bouncing back and forth here. LEU, I put like a shoulder, head, shoulder type pattern a while back. Could this have more downside? I mean, it's possible. We'll see. We've got a nice, good selling pressure day here with a lot of momentum. It's got to work that momentum off. LTBR, this could be trying to put in a bottom here. I think it looks pretty good. Long-term perspective, got these big patterns. This one broke to the downside. Now we see the volume step in because this had no volume back here in relationship to this. I do think this could see a good move higher. So I think it's not a bad entry point in my opinion. This is ISO Energy. So looking at ISO Energy, let's zoom in on the right here. I think we're going to bounce sideways for a little bit and then eventually work our way higher, hopefully, for ISO Energy. We've got Appia Rare Earth. I think this one went massively higher and it's kind of back down, but buyers wanted to push this thing up. Looks like it could be putting in a double bottom. Doesn't look too bad. Then we've got DNN. We still broke to the downside of this big old pattern. Looks like we're trying to find a bottom here. We'll see if it can find one. It's trying. Blue Sky had a nice little pop. Looks like we're trying to get back above this resistance support line right here. Forum Energy Metals is finding some support. This is kind of what you want to see. You want to see the big move down and then it contracts. It goes sideways and contracts where your opening and closing prices start to converge together, where the buyers are equaling the sellers here. So that one's starting to look better. And then Laramide, again, we're still kind of bouncing around in a downward fashion. This one's throwing a lot of false signals. Bullish engulfing, bullish piercing, and then we still sell off some. So that's Laramide there. So overall, the sector, I mean, it's just bouncing around trying to find a bottom. And I think we'll find one probably next week. I think that's when all the tax loss either gains or selling will subside, hopefully. And hopefully we can turn around and get some footing here and move on up. So I've just been riding it. I haven't really been doing anything with any of my accounts. Trying to not look at a lot of this stuff. I mean, every once in a while, I'll go in there and take a look, see what's going on. But I've had so this year, just kind of summing up the year, though, I've had massive moves in uranium. Absolutely massive moves. Massive moves in oil, huge moves in all my other companies as well. And I'm probably on the year up 160%. It was up at one point 319% for the entire portfolio. And I think I'm up something like 160% at the moment, something on the lines of that in terms of percentages. Not that it really matters, but when people say like, oh, is this the end of the uranium bull market? Or if this is, this pullback is just unbearable. I mean, you kind of have to look at the overall picture of this past year. It's up massively. And stocks, any companies, whatever they are, stocks, they don't go straight up. They have pullbacks, they rest, they go sideways, and then they make large advances. You have to be in the stock when they make those large advances. And what happens for the majority of this time, and maybe I can show it on Laramide here, is you got to be almost like cost averaging in where you can. And what I did is I cost averaged in a few times. I got in at 20 cents here. Probably on this pullback here, I bought it like in this range here. And then I bought it again as it was going up. And then I bought it again when it was down here. And I'm waiting, and I'm just like looking at some of these companies, because whenever you got these large patterns like this, I mean, this is a massive pattern. And you can buy on the right-hand side here, and you can buy on this right-hand side here after it breaks. That's what you do as an investor. You buy over on the right-hand side when this thing's basically coiling up. When it breaks, you can buy it after the breakout, which I bought on this month here. When it came back, I bought some more on the breakout and retest. This is the lowest risk spot to be buying, in my opinion, of anything, because it broke out, and now you're buying the retest, and it will eventually work its way higher. I think these have a long way to go to the upside over time, because we're going to be in a commodity bull market coming up, and money likes to flow to these sectors. And this sector, it can't absorb any sort of money of any size. So when I look at these things, I just see opportunity, and you just have to be patient for them to play out. And I don't know any investments where you can be impatient. You're going to have to change yourself if you're an impatient person, and become a lot more patient with this stuff. You kind of just buy it. You get a good chart pattern, you get the good valuations, you get the alignment, you buy it, and you just hold on. And if you can do that, this will probably be far higher in some years out. I don't know I think what's going to happen is we're going to get a massive run in this. I don't know when it's exactly going to happen, but it's probably going to happen between now and 2028. Somewhere in that time frame, we're going to see a massive run, and it's going to be absolutely biblical in its size. So I don't want to miss out on it. So what I'm doing is I'm accumulating into this sector, into companies in this sector, and mining companies, continually over time. I think precious metals is in the same way, just like uranium, and same with oil and natural gas. Our time will come. You got to be patient. Give me a thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.